coming into music when Neo was wearing a fedora. Like shit was different, bro. Like
a crispy fedora.
Yo,
man.
crispy too, by the way.
Now we
like,
just talk about his love life. Let's talk about the fedora. Can we get back to the fedora?
For real.
Respect his fedora, man.
Had me rocking a fedora low key around that time in high school.
Got some fedora flicks?
Oh, I definitely got some fedora flicks, bro. Like, yo, I was cheesing too. Doing it.
My guy, Leon Thomas. Thank you, brother.
What's up, man? Good to see you, man.
And we tried this before we doing it again, man. Because you're even hotter than you was when we first have our...
Man, I really appreciate it, man. You know you're a legend, dog.
Oh,
so it's a big
brother.
deal.
Thank you. You know, I told you before, like, Mutt, my favorite album, R&B album, 2024, hands down.
Man, thank you.
And then you kept hinting at, maybe you'll get a deluxe, maybe whatever. And I didn't know how serious you were about it.
Nah,
and then all of a sudden, you did your due diligence, like really took your time with it, was liberal with it, like. And then now, like, you know, at the time of this, it's not out yet, but you gave me the advance, and I think it's 7 original songs, remixes.
Yeah, man.
And it's amazing again. It's like, it feels like the album, but it feels like to me, like, you know, deluxes could feel like you just like grasping onto something or extent. Yeah. This feels like it's like true to the essence, but it's its own body of work.
Absolutely, man.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to try to recreate the magic of the first batch of songs. I think it was just more so about extending the storyline and, you know, really like sticking to the concepts I was kind of elaborating on the first half. And, you know, a big part of it was also collaboration, you know, really tapping in with some of my favorite rappers and singers and some of the R&B divas. My brother... I had my brother, you know, spitting on some joints. Big Sean, he's on 2 joints, which is like a real blessing, man. Yeah. Waive the artist fee, God bless.
That's key.
But, yeah, like it's really key, man. I just feel the support, you know. Shout out to Kehlani, Marsha Ambrosia. Yeah, and, you know,
I don't know what Kehlani's on it. Oh, that's Kehlani on that.
Kehlani on Dirt on My Shoes.
Dirt on My Shoes.
It wasn't labeled properly on that link they have there, but we'll have it right for the release. Yeah.
Yeah, where to begin? I mean, you kind of shared the first thing when it was like there was sort of the emotional roller coaster ride of Chris Brown's gonna get on the joint, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, take me to that. Like I saw.
That was a big deal, man. You know, I was overseas. I was in the UK. You know, performing for the first time out there. We did 2 sold-out shows back to back. And
in the
crowd, the energy was amazing in London, man. They were showing so much love and like really supporting everything we had going on. Knew all the lyrics. It was a vibe. Yeah. I did my sound check. I get a text message from my manager like, vocals are in. Yeah. Mixes
right. Play that shit loud as fuck.
Yeah, I was like, I need to hear that loud right now. Had it on camera too, which is perfect. We didn't plan that. Like, no, that was no cap. That was a real reaction of me just feeling like,
What can
it's
you
been
tell
such
me,
a long
right?
journey, man. It's just been such a long journey, and you know, I really consider Chris Brown to be one of the giants in R&B, especially for my generation, and for him to notice and to really tap in with me.
How did it first come about? Like, because it was a formal ask to him. Like, how did you first tap in and know that you wanted to try?
LA's kind of it's big but small, especially in the creative circles. So me and Chris had met, you know, a bunch of times. You know, shout out to Dot, aka the Linden. Met him over there, and it's a small little bar, but a lot of cool kids go over there and turn up, you know. And we was just over there hanging, and he showed me so much love off of my first album, Electric Dusk, which I felt like I didn't know if, you know, some of the big dogs was listening to that one.
So he was tapped in off the rip.
He was tapped in off of that.
Wow.
And over time, you know, I would see him around a lot, and when we were trying to figure out what to do for the feature, he was definitely top of the list, but that's one of those features you're like, all right, we'll see. Like, you know,
can't even get too excited, right?
You can't even get too hyped until it comes in, you know.
Yeah. What did you think? So you didn't give him no direction or any input. You just was waiting to see what like.
Nah, you just gotta let him shoot, man. He's gonna go crazy, and he definitely lit it up. And it's so cool to play it at clubs now. You know, I mean, the girls really love it. Yeah, man, I'm here for it, man. I'm all the way here for everything that's going on right now.
How you balancing that? For people that may not know, like, you know, you've been a force in this game, your journey, like, kind of, I always say, like, behind the scenes force, right? Like, not fully in the forefront. But this whole last year and a half, 2 years has been you really stepping up to the forefront.
And that's not by accident, man. I mean, I feel like, you know, sitting down and working with Drake on Certified Lover Boy gave me a new level of confidence. The amount of power that Drake was speaking into me around that time was just so potent and real. And during COVID, I was really like just loading, evolving as a human being, really doing the internal work, getting into meditation, yoga, working out more, really like tapping into my art, you know, feeling the artist energy again. And you know, Electric Dusk was a great way to just kind of enter back into the scene and really deal with a lot of those hard lessons that come with, you know, touring for the first time, really like tapping in, you know, marketing runs and really understanding radio in a different way. And by the time we got to the album Mutt, I felt like I was ready. I was like genuinely ready to take off, you know?
What do you make of the singular success of just that title track? Like it's become its own thing, right?
I love it.
It's on its own journey, right?
It was meant to be a hook into my world. You know, we're spoon feeding people this live energy, you know, that's live bass. Those are live drums. It's not programmed. My boy played that like like that dude, you know, at church. You know what I mean? He was like playing drums, you know. So like it's
so many people even catch that
there's
part.
Live strings on there. This is live music, but it's still packaged in a way that feels young, and we can play right after Travis Scott, and nobody's you know scrolling on their phone, and that's a beautiful moment for R&B because I think you know the funk deserves to live. I just did Coachella with Ty Dolla $ign.
Yes, sir.
And that's my big brother. I'm signed to him under his imprint, Easy Money. And he had George Clinton come out and do Atomic Dog right after Mutt.
Wow.
And George Clinton brought out this hat for me, man. It had like a dog on it and everything. He was like, yeah, you the dude with the dog song, huh? Yeah, I got something for you from the big dog. I got you, you know? It felt like a crowning ceremony, man. Like he was really saying, like, I see what you're doing. I respect what you're doing, young man. Keep going. And it's those kind of affirmations.
And you didn't even know that. That's just a bonus, right?
It was a bonus.
You were to support your guy, Ty.
I was there to support Ty and just lock in. But he even had me play guitar with him while he was doing Atomic Dog on stage. And, yeah, I could tell my dad was real proud of me, man.
Yeah. I saw something you landed on the, you know, it's been in the history of music. Atomic Dog, the dog is sort of a metaphor, right? I think you said you saw something with Elvis and the Hound Dog.
Yeah, Elvis as well. Yeah, the Hound Dog. There's so many examples of the dog, you know, being attached to popular music and culture. I feel like branding, in a way, should be able to be a language that's being able to be spoken without too many words. And it was dope to have that one title, Mutt, that just immediately you could kind of grasp what I was trying to say and where I'm going with things and even give it a new definition in my own generation.
It didn't seem like, you know, that would basically be like a dog or misogynistic or any of that kind of stuff.
Not misogynistic. That's not the vibe.
That, right? Yeah.
That's not the vibe. Yeah. But it's just balance. And I feel like there's such an ebb and flow of a young man trying to find his way and trying to genuinely like find love and you know whatever that means to everybody. But you know, for me, you know, I'm the kind of person that does see a life with the family and the whole thing. But it's just documenting my process, trying to get there with all the flashing lights and the distractions and the ups and downs of just what comes with it. You know.
And it's important, like that's the challenge as a writer to really capture that honesty, right?
Exactly. The vulnerability of it all, you know, like being as honest as possible. Yeah.
How did you land on the heel angle with this extension of the album?
I mean,
H-E-E-L.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a command I'm still trying to teach my dog, which is a Mutt. Just how to act right. Like, come on, heel, buddy, let's go. Come on, get it together. And that's the whole thing. You know, I even have like parts of the records where I have girls just saying heel. And I think that's a real thing. You know, a lot of men, before they get into relationships, they need to learn how to H-E-A-L, heel, before they can actually really fall in line. Yeah. But I thought it was a clever way of just like figuring it out, you know, telling a different side of the story.
Yeah, no, this is just a strong opener. Like, what made you try to just begin in a cappella and sort of build that track, and then that beat switch, man, it's real hip hop to me, man.
Yeah. You know? I was listening to Kendrick Lamar, and he had a record on Damn that did it. I'm like blanking on the title right now. I don't know why, but. He had a record on Damn that I thought was really potent. And there was something so special about that singular vocal into just some poetry into a crazy beat, you know? Yeah. And I wanted to kind of...
Maybe Element,
I think so. Okay, yeah. Yes, maybe.
Yeah. We'll fact check.
But yeah, I'm the worst with titles of songs. But yeah, I really look up to artists like Kendrick, you know, who can really just really do fine art with music. You know, I mean, we got 12 notes and you know, a limited amount of rhythms, but he always finds a way to reinvent the wheel, which is really cool.
Absolutely. And it's one of his peers from that, you know, we call the blog era, like you said, Big Sean.
Yeah.
That was surprising, amazing. Like, not one feature, 2 features. Like, one original song and one he touches up the vibes.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, what do you think it is about your guys' connection? Because it's really strong chemistry there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like we're very similar. Like, when I talk to Big Sean, it's not about music most of the time. It's about whatever book he just read. He's the kind of person that meditates too, and just understands like the importance of mental health and just like having a sound shell. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of artists who are kind of just like living through the money, and Big Sean is definitely a great family man and somebody I look up to in this industry who like found a way to be human through his success. And you know, he's the kind of person I'll just call just to, you know, unpack things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna make it seem like he's like my, you know.
No.
But
spiritual
he's
guru,
really spiritual guru and everything. But like, that's really my dog. You know, like some of the talks we have are very real. Yeah. And you know, working on his last album was really cool, and you know, we definitely hit it off. So I figured, you know, why not have him 2 times on the record? And if I get 2 amazing verses from a legend like Big Sean, we're not letting any of that go to waste. Like,
good problem.
Not on my watch. We're putting both of those out.
How are you managing that? So like you said, like sort of that journey of like, you know, someone like Sean, he's kind of been through it, right? The levels of fame and understand, like, you're encountering that as you draw from that. Like, how are you receiving that as sort of like your profile continues to rise? Like, how are you balancing that?
I feel like my circle's getting a lot smaller, but I'm doing everything I can to stay as grounded as possible by just keeping in touch with family. But yeah, the circle's getting real tight. Yeah. Cause I can just see the mistakes of my brothers, you know, and where things could have been tighter on their journey up.
Besides Mutt, I feel like Yes It Is like right behind. It's like sort of like the signature record of that situation. Like, how do you view that? And then why was it important to bring Marsha on, sort of like to take it to another level?
That was me paying homage to the Tiny Desk, which I thought was really cool, man. We did a mashup of Say Yes and Yes It Is. Say Yes was such a classic record to me as, you know, a child of neo soul, you know, somebody who really, really loved the Erykah Badu's and the Music Soul Childs, Floetries of the world, you know. I just thought it would be a really cool thing to have her lock in on the outro of that. Of Yes It Is, just to pay homage to how viral that went, and you know, we got about 2 million views on that performance so far and counting, which is such a blessing because I was kind of nervous to do it, to be honest.
Can you talk about that? Like, there's a lot of people that don't know the behind the scenes of that how challenging it is to those performances, right?
They're really challenging because you don't really have the bells and whistles that you may have on a Tonight Show or any other live you know, platform. It's so stripped down, you know, and you really have to have a very rehearsed band. And just because musicians are great doesn't mean they play great together. So we did about 2 weeks of solid rehearsal, you know, and it was around a really tough time in my life. My grandfather, who's, you know, my number 1 fan and, you know, my personal Mr. Miyagi, passed away. Oh, wow. So it was, it's all right. But, you know, it was just definitely like a lot of ups and downs. Emotionally kind of leading up to not just Tiny Desk, but I was also doing the day before that, Steve Colbert.
Very
you know,
important.
A lot of mental gymnastics, man. Like trying to really like. In and stay focused as well as support my mom as she was planning the funeral.
Of course. But so when you get to do it, did you feel like you lived up to, especially the Tiny Desk specifically, like how were you able to execute that, and how did you feel like you really nailed it?
I did my best, and I mean, there was an array of different records in there where I could use the personal way that I was feeling emotionally for source material for the actual song itself, like records like Breaking Point. And it was just really just a special moment. I felt like my grandfather was there with me in that moment. You know, his energy was there, and you know, we just powered through it, man. But to circle back to yes, it is. But I wanted to, because it was such a special moment, really just give the people an opportunity to hear it, in audio form a little bit different, like recorded
sort of match how they
and locked in,
yeah. And then you said, so what made you connect with Kehlani on that? Because I didn't know that was Kehlani at first. Like, what made you connect?
I mean, that's my friend. That's like a really good friend of mine. She hit me up. We've been texting a lot. We always text and call here and there just to make sure each other are okay.
Yeah.
But she was finally back off of tour, which she had an amazing tour.
Yeah.
Went in. I even got to see one of her tour stops, and I know she was pretty tired, but she decided that we should get in the studio and just cook up.
Wow, right, fresh off the stage?
Yeah, fresh off the stage, pretty much. It was like, I want to say like 2 or 3 days after the big tour,
Yeah.
So we just got in, recorded like we usually do. Writing with her is like a conversation. It's not even no nerves, no nothing. Just good vibes.
It just feels at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So part of this, because like people realize the album was great, but it came out like past the Grammy deadline, right?
Yeah.
And I know how important that is to you. So it's like almost extending this further. It's like you want to keep the project in the forefront of everyone's minds.
Yeah. I want to stay in front of people's faces and make sure that we're giving these songs a fair chance.
Yeah.
We worked really hard on them, so
yeah,
I want to make sure they at least get a chance, a good shot.
I still need that Films on Silent, man.
Yeah.
Push, man. That's my joint.
Yeah.
You and Wale, produced by Conductor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, what's great about this deluxe is it's just an extension of the original album.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Even when you get the vinyl, you get two discs.
Yeah. I was gonna ask how are you presenting it like on the DSPs? Is it gonna be its own thing or
disc 1, disc 2?
Got you.
Yeah.
So its own body of work.
Yeah. Its own body of work, just in conjunction with the last piece, which is really cool.
Talk about. I knew you last year. We talked about the winning the Grammy, working with SZA for Snooze. I hadn't realized that you had won one before with the Tony Braxton.
Yeah, and Babyface. Yeah. That was before they changed the rule about producers on the albums.
No way? I don't know.
So like the whole thing is that if you're not the executive producer of an album now. On the album, you don't get the trophy if you win R&B album.
Yes, people don't really understand like which people get credited on the album.
Right.
Because I'll see somebody have a feature and they'll say, "I'm a Grammy Award winner," but did you really get the Grammy? You got a certificate?
Right. Like so I got a certificate for that one, which was equally as amazing. I mean, even showing my dad that back in the day, he was like, "Wow, you're really doing this, kid." Okay, all right. I was like 21 around that time.
You get a Grammy certification, you're really in the music business.
Yeah, I'm like really doing something. So it felt really good to have that. But the trophy in the living room is a whole different ball game.
That's for Snooze.
That's a whole different ball game.
You said like you hadn't furnished the house all the way, and it was just like this is the centerpiece kind of right now.
Pretty much, yeah. I got like this glass case that's like it's in there, like locked in. This little backlight,
like in the living room. Like when you come in?
Yeah.
Like
you come in and it's like bow. It's like right there. Right there. I ain't playing. I'll be turning that little backlight on for sure.
But that is important to you, right? Like you want to win a Grammy. Let's manifest. We're winning a Grammy for Mutt. Like that's what really it's super important to you.
Yeah. I want to get it in front of people. I mean, I think it's really important because it's an award that is voted on by your peers. There's no like secret board that just decides if you get a Grammy or not. Like there's thousands of voting members, and they listen to the music and they decide if that year, if they really feel like you held it down. And that does mean a lot to me, man. But I try not to like hyper obsess over it or anything. Like I think it's just, putting in the work. I feel like if I'm truly walking on my steps, that's a byproduct of the hard work that we're doing.
Yeah. So doing so much for other artists, like now you're on the solo path for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you would go back and ever work with someone like behind the scenes, or you feel like you really focus more on your vision and your path and growing?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm even right now, I can't talk about the artists that I'm preparing ideas for, but yeah, I'm still down. you know?
Yeah.
There's like some big artists that I'm like still really excited to work with, and even some smaller artists that just really inspire me that I'd be down to just cook up with.
The biggest thing now is like that part hasn't shut down. That hasn't shut down.
No, not at all. It's just my time is pretty tough.
Yeah.
It is pretty tough, man. Just between shows, interviews, and even preparing mixes and visuals for my own stuff, it's just been a little different getting into the studio these days.
but they can still hit you on the line.
I'm down most of the time. Just it's just really trying to protect, my peace and my mental. It's just got to be things that really like resonate with me.
Yeah. And can you speak to? I think we spoke about it before about like how you view it, like you a songwriter giving a song away, like how you working with abundance, right?
Yeah. It's an abundance mindset.
Abundance mindset.
I feel like a lot of artists / songwriters feel like, well, if this song sounds like a hit, I shouldn't give it away because I should use it for myself. But that's affirming that you won't make another one tomorrow or the next week or next month or this year. And I know for a fact that, the source that I'm pulling from is, it's just ever flowing, man. There's like a lot of ideas in my head and things that I think could really be culturally impactful.
Yeah, how does your day-to-day with that? Do you feel like you day-to-day want to lay tracks down? Like, how do you approach things? Do you do it from home? You go to studio?
My team, they joke anytime I have a day off. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Where's Leon?" You know where he's at. He's in the studio. There's no such thing as a day off. Because for me, it's just fun. Like, I'm down to be in there anyway. It's just a good time. Yeah. And, it's just such a good flow of energy. And a lot of my really good friends all produce and play instruments. So it's just like a conversation like any other day. We're just having fun in there.
Yeah. I saw you big up like some of the newer generation or newer artists and producers out there. Who do you have your eye on? Who kind of continues to like inspire you or think we should keep our eyes out on?
Man, all of my collaborators are so talented. David Phelps, Busy Crook, Rob Garinger. And then there's a bunch of other artists that I'm like surrounded by right now. Avery Wilson is amazing. Big voice, man. Gabby Simone, she's on American Idol right now. I've been knowing her for years, and so cool to see her get in this moment. She's got a big like Whitney Houston kind of voice. And McGee, there's like plenty of other artists that I'm like.
You said McGee, like
I'm a big fan of McGee, man. He's like, to me, his tone on the guitar reminds me of Prince a lot. And the style of songs that he's doing are really like, they just break a lot of rules. And like I said, 12 notes, limited rhythms. Like if you can find a way to make something that I haven't heard before, I'm usually an immediate fan.
Please break that down, because I'm not a musician. You keep saying the 12 notes thing. Like, so people that know, how can you explain that?
We're all using the same 12 notes and a limited amount of rhythms that would be considered popular music. And it's up to us as artists to like turn that into something real, I'm really excited about what my team has been able to do with it, but it's the very thing that makes me a fan of any artist,
Yeah. Do you think that people say, well, there's a lack of originality at times? Do you feel like, is it because we're limited by 12 notes and you kind of push yourself, no matter limitations, to like find something different and unique out of what you create?
I think the lack of creativity is an excuse for people not looking into amazing artists that are right in front of their face. But it's tough. I mean, there's millions of people dropping music every week, right? So I can't expect everybody to crate dig their way to that new creative sound or thing. But it's there. It's there. Like, I was there 10 years ago, doing my thing. There's so many other artists in the same boat and lane doing amazing things right now. Very, very potent talent. That are breaking rules and really pushing the boundaries. And I'm really hoping that as a society we start supporting some of those artists a little bit better than we have in the past.
And I think of you and I think of someone like Adochi, right, where it's like you're not defined by your opening first week or whatever, right? And like, you dropped this album in September, and we give a F about it right now as we take this in May.
Exactly.
Even without the deluxe, which is amazing.
Right.
Just on its own, like, can you speak to that too, where it's like, I guess it is frustration as an artist, like you're saying, to not be discovered. I'm good out here. You sleeping on me. I'm good. But when you put the record out, what is it like to really just keep working the record or keep pushing and make sure that like you don't get ignored, that this is so good that people are going to pay attention?
I'm fighting right now. I'm putting in a good fight too. We are, and this is a team sport. I always say music is a team sport. And shout out to Biz 3, to Easy Money, to Capital, and Motown, and just the whole staff that's like coming together to pull all of our resources together so that we're in front of the right people, so that my music is finding its audience. I was just told today over lunch that people in South Africa like my music. And I mean, that's not possible without a team that helps push and put that in front of people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm down to do the work. I mean, there's times where I'm doing 7 interviews a day or like, you know, I may be tired after a show or before a show, but I'm down to sit down and to tell my story because who knows, like it needs to be heard, and who knows what platform is going to be the thing to continue this, you know, this whole journey.
Yeah, to speak a little for people that may not know, like, you know, Nickelodeon child actor, once you segue to music, I'm sure you've had those moments. I signed to Columbia, this is going to work. I signed to Rostrum, this is going to work. Like, to go through those sort of steps, like, can you speak to that as an artist of, like, thinking that your time is now, but then you're going to have to be patient, man, and just continue to grow?
Well, I signed to Columbia Records when I was 13 years old, prior to even doing the show on Nickelodeon. So it was about, give or take, 5 years of being like on a shelf, like making records, hoping that, you know, we would start pushing something. But it's kind of tough when you're not signed from an already existing hit and they don't necessarily know what to do with you marketing wise. And as a, you know, growing into being an adult, like I didn't know who I was either. I was still figuring that out. I mean, I was working so much, I hadn't really lived life yet. So, you know, shout out to Benji. Every place I was signed was a lesson. He taught me the importance of scaling a business. And the way that he explained that was just putting money that's already being made into something rather than just constantly sourcing for that big check to make it just take off. No real gambles. It's just like cycling that money back into it until it becomes this compounded, successful thing. And that's the way I even deal with the major labels. I look at it from an independent mindset rather than spending, you know, let's say $100,000 on one music video.
Their budget that they give you.
I'm gonna take that and do 8 visualizers and use them as many commercials to see which copyright is getting the most love. All right, y'all like Mutt? All right, let's go shoot a real music video. Let's like, you know, put that in front of people, and that's what y'all are loving. Let's work it. Let's go to all the clubs and let's do venue shows. Like, there's ways to kind of fight through, which makes sense in this market. Apprehensive executives who are like, all right, we don't want to look stupid to our boss, you know? People were getting fired left and right, so I'm glad it all worked out. Drop and fire, like, no, I was like, holy. So, yeah, I'm just glad
he's
we
not
made
down
it.
the hall anymore? He's not in the office? That's not his office no more?
Nah, things were going down, so, I mean, I was definitely being very careful about it. But being signed to those places prior, understanding the flow of it.
You took a lesson from each experience.
Man, I mean, it was all lessons that, you know, made me into who I am right now.
I think you said with the Rostrum also, you know, people know Wiz Khalifa the biggest success out of that. But even someone like Burner, how you witnessed him building a business.
I watched him build Cookies. I was there with him. He had this penthouse in Hollywood. And at the time, you could get like a prescription for like marijuana. You could get like a little prescription for the weed. But my boy was coming in there with garbage. He was coming in there with garbage bags of weed. I'm like, whoo, all right, is this legal, my boy? But he was building the foundational aspects of what is now Cookies, this $1 billion company. Like, that was so cool. And talking about the power of it's legalized and he's good to go. And you know, now we're you know, we're just really watching him continue to flow as an amazing entrepreneur. And he taught me about merch and the importance of selling things to the fans. And you know, even now I'm still designing new capsules and merch capsules for everybody. So I'm hyped about the things I've learned over the years.
Going back to the same thing of saying why it works now, like you said, you have the right team around you. You built a team. Like, can you speak to that? Like, artists can make good music and have talent, but they're not going to really get to where they want to go unless they have a team.
I met this amazing manager, Jonathan Azu, who really believed in me early when, let's be honest, there was really no incentive. I mean, I was already in a pretty weird deal, and I was trying to work my way out of things. So it's not like he was going to be making a lot of money out the gate from me, you know. But he started really teaching me just the corporate process of really working these boardrooms. You know, and still to this day is definitely the backbone of, you know, presenting my music to brands and to the label in a way that just really makes sense, you know, and we're building something special right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me about Rather Be Alone. It gives me like there's certain songs in there where I feel like you're kind of getting in your Rockstar bag, or like more of like a showing that side of you. Like
I'm spoon feeding that side because I mean I know
little Beach Boys vibe on Rather Be Alone.
yeah. I'm definitely like spoon feeding that side, but it's a very potent part of who I am as an artist. And if you listen to any of my projects, I'll always have a piece of that. Yeah, because it's such a big part of me. It's a song I wrote on the acoustic guitar in my living room. Very simple. It's just how I was feeling that day. We added some drums, some bass, some strings, and Hallie popped through, and she was just kind of hanging out. And I said, "You should hop on the record." And now we're putting it out, and it was very true to how we both were feeling at the time. So I think that's a good thing when you can use music as a therapy.
You think that sort of the vulnerability, the honesty, is being a great writer like yourself, like that's the key to you? A lot of ways, a lot of people to tap into that?
I mean, I don't know what's gonna work for everybody else. You know, I know people, especially rappers, who literally write about whatever. And even some of the songs I have like are experiences that are just kind of imagined because I want to like make it have more drama. Yeah. But I think as long as you're being genuine to yourself and who you are morally, I think you'll be all right. Yeah. You know, but the drama's okay if you want to build something and play a character. Do your thing, you know. But I know this is working for me.
And when you gonna give us some bars, man? I know you got some raps, man. You got some.
Yeah, I got some raps for sure. I got a whole project with Conductor. It's like me like rapping, singing the whole way through. Yeah, a whole like secret hidden project we did. I don't know. I feel like it's just one thing at a time, man. You know, I really want to play my guitar. I want to do my drum solos. I want to play like these really big spaces, and you know, being out there in like Coachella and like seeing all those people out there. I want music that's gonna be able to really help me live out that rock star, that R&B energy on a large scale. And then I think I'll start, you know, veering off into other genres again when I feel like it. Just the way I work is very spontaneous.
I feel like with the live show, you feel like you want to have a guitar, right? Like I
want to have my guitar. I want to get that moment off. You know what I'm saying?
Like give my Jimi Hendrix song real quick.
Like I'm really locked in on these solos. Like that's what I'm doing.
Okay, I got to talk about one of my favorites on here, man. Not Fair.
You like that, huh?
Not Fair stuck in my head, man.
That was the only song on the deluxe that I didn't write. And it's my boy James Fauntleroy.
Oh,
legendary.
Pretty good writer.
Right, legend. Came through. We had a session.
So if you're gonna pass the pen to somebody else to let them have it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like it was a dream.
So he brought it to you. Is like you should fuck with this, or
no. We just talked about what I was going through that day. He hopped in the booth. And I was intimidated. I was like, man, you got it. Recorded exactly what he wrote. Like, say less. The beat was nice, you know, it worked out. My first ever session was with James Fauntleroy.
Your first session?
My first session when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
I got flown out to LA, and I worked with James and Harvey Mason Jr. And it was like the underdogs at that time.
Yeah. Wow. So wait, what was the just vibing? It was just a casual thing. Do you think that why he landed on the lyrics for Not Fair for you?
Yeah, I think it was just a casual thing. It's very interesting how James writes because he writes a lot like the rappers I know. He's not like a sit down, let's get the verse down, let's record that pre-chorus, let's get that. All right, this is what the hook is gonna say. He's like bar for bar, just freestyling like Jay-Z until it just makes all the sense in the world. And he's very fast, very quick writer. Yeah. And watching him have that stream of consciousness, to me, it's like, I just didn't want to get in the way of a miracle. I was like, at this point, I'm going to let that brother do his thing. Yeah. Sounds great. Yeah. Let me tap in, let me sing it down.
And did you lay it recorded in front of him, like the session, or you recorded it later?
I think he went off to go eat or something and came back. And by that time, I knocked it out,
He was just like...
He was like, killed it. We did 2 songs that day. The second song is lit, too.
Okay. Yeah. Is he like are there particular people that you know every time you love to work with because you know?
I look up to him. I see him as like my big brother in this whole songwriting production game, and even as an artist, like he was one of my favorite artists coming up.
Yeah. Cocaine 80s stuff.
Cocaine 80s stuff. No ID. Him. It's just like, yeah, man. I'm a real fan of this music stuff, and James is a force of nature. If you look at his catalog, it's insane. Yeah.
How you feel for the rest of the year? What are your goals for the rest of the year? Things you want to make sure you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to hop on a plane and continue to travel to different countries with the music too, man. Like building other territories. We got a bunch of stuff in Europe, South Africa, which is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Some big shows in LA before we do my headline tour.
And when's the headline tour start?
Unofficially September, but we'll see. September, October, so we'll see what's good.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, man. We're gonna do some bonus stuff, but
all right, bet.
Thank you for coming
through,
down,
man. Yo, thank you so much, man.
Yo,
I appreciate
man. Finally,
you, brother.
Man.
Yo, it's like big bro energy for real. Just vibing, yo.
Nah, for sure.